You all right?
Yeah.
You can totally breathe this stuff. Just try to relax.
And guys, feel free to take pictures, whatever you want.
Okay, is this thing starting now, Ron?
See, we're on the way.
Chin up for me.
See your arm there, buddy. Just kind of lay it flat on your leg. We're just going to put a little of this on you, okay? We're going to let it dry clear.
Okay, I'm going to line your eyes, so look up. Look up with your eyes open. I'm not going to get this in your eyes, so trust me.
Left way.
Okay, now I'm on this side. Okay, now look up. Open your eye and look up. All right, he made it. You got it. Do you have a your camera phone? You can take a look at this thing. Here.
I got you covered.
Okay, this is what? That was 20 minutes.
Yep.
Something you'd see in a hero zombie. You'd probably build prosthetics and stuff, but this isn't bad for a background zombie or a haunted house kind of thing. Here, let me get a picture of you.
Check.
Okay, it's officially 2 o'clock.
We are officially starting.
That means it's officially starting. Hey guys, I'm Shane Morton, and
I'm Ron McLellen.
And this is Ron McLellen. We're both independent monster movie makers, but we also dabble. You know, sometimes I get the big bucks to work on big stuff. I've designed big $1 million movie sequences for like Rob Zombie. I did the Phantom Jam and Halloween 2. I designed this big TV show on Adult Swim right now. I don't know if you guys have seen this. It's an office comedy that takes place entirely in hell. So those of you that you know what it's like to work in a job that you hate and your boss is Satan, you can watch a TV show where the boss is literally Satan. But like, it's a lot of fun. And not only did I get to be the designer of the show, I had 6 months, so I got to build all this stuff. Like even the urinals are evil. They all look like they were designed by H.R. Geiger or something. So it's a fun show, and every shot has a special effect in it. Ron had made a Blu-ray of all these digital effects, because now digital effects are really cheap. You can buy really awesome blood spurts and gunshots and fire and bursts of smoke that make your squibs that you've made out of fireworks look even better, you know, and this stuff is pretty affordable, and that's what we're gonna kind of go through right now with kind of like homegrown special effects, making stuff for nothing. And I don't know if she saw because she was here, but this is just cotton dipped in latex. And I've been doing this for 25 years professionally, so I'm a little bit faster than the average guy. So it takes practice. And I'm gonna show you guys some basics of like monster makeup and how to build makeups and what's important when you're doing that. So does anybody want to come up here and get a makeup done?
Tabitha.
I think she's up for it.
Yes, she is.
Usually I would, just for illustration purposes, I'm going to use a makeup pencil here. If you guys in the back want to come up closer, everybody can crowd around and we can make this real intimate.
Yeah, come on up.
I won't bite hard. But yeah, you guys want to see this stuff. We don't have a teleprompter. So what I'm going to show you guys, like, does anybody know who Dick Smith is? Have you guys ever heard of Dick Smith? He's the master, he's still alive and he's still awesome. And he made a book for kids his age back in 1965 called the Dick Smith's Monster Makeup Manual. And to this day, it is the Bible of all of us horror movie makeup effects artists. Like even to this day, Rick Baker still references this book because it's so awesome and it lays it all out for a kid. So, and I'm doing like, you don't need latex to do this. You can go to Kroger and get some unflavored Knox gelatin.
And
is that
Elmer's
what you're
glue.
using? Elmer's glue. Like this is, we're going to show you guys some stuff that's in the Dick Smith book, so you don't have to throw the $5 out for the latex. This is stuff you can do, and I did, got in a lot of trouble doing it in my mom's makeup kit and her cornflakes and Caro syrup.
Yep.
So what I'm going to show you guys is the basis for any good makeup. If you're going to start practicing on yourself too, which is what I highly recommend, you want to
there you go.
You want to
we're going to let that dry.
You want to know how the face works and the structure of the face. So you're going to want to do a wrinkle map. She has, because what we're going to do today is like kind of a combination old age makeup and zombie type thing, undead thing. And it's very illustrative. If you look at her, she's got some great bone structure. What you want to do when you're approaching these kind of makeups is you're wanting to bring the skull out from beneath the skin. So I can look at her because I've done years of research on anatomy and I've drawn dead people and I've done a lot of research like Dr. Frankenstein. It's kind of gross, but you kind of got to do it if you're going to know how to do this. And I can see like her orbital ridge is really strong. She's got this great bridge here that like Walking Dead people would just love because it just takes all the work away. They don't even have to do it. But you want to like start to understand how the face works, right? And we can see first you want to start to kind of go around the lines of the face here. Look at that. And there's going to be cracks here. You're going to want to kind of see what's going to happen in the future when you squint your face. Let's see you squint your face up. See, look at that. There's all these wrinkles coming out. So you squint your face and don't be afraid to make funny faces in the mirror and do this stuff. So what I'm doing is I'm applying a wrinkle map. See this cheekbone? Very important. I'm going to put some stuff here. Look at this. You know, and if you're a smoker, which I hope you're not, because smoking is very bad for you, and if you're planning on being a makeup artist, you must quit smoking because nobody wants to smell your stinky face while you're getting their makeup done. So your hands, yeah. So, but if you are a smoker, you're going to get this kind of like sphinctery, puckery mouth. So we're going to kind of bring that out with some lines here. And even if you're not a smoker, but you suck on lollipops all day or whatever it is, we're all going to get this stuff later. No matter how much oil of Olay you use, it's coming. The march of age is inexorable, and it can't be stopped. So we're going to do some stuff through here. Look at that. That always happens. This is, oh, see what she did? She just raised her eyebrows and gave me a whole bunch of these. Right? And so we've got some of this stuff going on. And this is pretty silly. You guys have watched me do this right now, and this could almost get away on stage at some production of, you know, some high school production or something of a. So this is one of my favorite parts, is this line that the skull makes here around the orbital ridge. And I'm going to accentuate that like this brow line and all this stuff, right? See that curve of the side of the skull? What is that called?
Temple.
Pulling a blank. Well, it's got some crazy Latin phrase. Yeah, I think that's it. Sounds good enough. But it all ties into the orbital ridge right here that kind of pulls your whole eye together, keeps your eyes from falling out of your face, unless you're a Pekingese. And I'm going to put this line across here where I can see her skull. Her nose on her skull stops here and the cartilage starts. And that's important because when you die, your skin pulls back from your face, your cartilage starts to fall, and you get these sort of things happening here. And I'm going to accentuate that. Now I'm moving away from the old age wrinkle map, which this is pretty close to what Dick Smith would have done in his book. And I'm going to start doing some details that are going to allow her to look more zombified. We're going to go real dark around here.
This guy, he's been in the ground a long time.
Yeah, yeah.
And kind of a demonic thing going on with him too, so.
So more of this stuff. Okay. So that's a good start. Look up. While I'm in there, I'm going to go ahead and line her eyes. I'm not going to get this in your eye, trust me. Okay, I'm on this side now. And if you noticed, I used the same pencil on him, but in between, I wiped the whole thing down and cleaned it off with alcohol. Close your eyes. That's another thing you want to be sure of. You want to be clean and you want to be safe when doing makeup on people. The first thing I asked him, I was like, do you have a latex allergy? Now I'm on this eye. Because that would have been really bad if he had a latex allergy and I dumped a bunch of latex right on his face. I don't know if you guys have ever seen anybody with extreme latex allergies, but we'd be calling an ambulance and I'd be very sad.
There's different extremes too. You're like me, who it just irritates me a little bit. It doesn't make me just go berserk.
Well, it irritated him too.
Yeah. And that's just the nature of the beast. There's probably not anybody that it doesn't irritate a little bit.
Except for me.
Except for Shane,
because I live in it.
Yeah, he's accustomed to it.
But yeah, so, okay. And if you guys are interested, I do teach classes. It's a 6-hour course that costs about $150, and you get to keep a makeup kit that's worth about $100. My next adult class is the 11th. The children's class is the 11th, and the adult class is the 18th, but you can friend me on Facebook and see that if you guys want to get into this. To save time, I'm going to use an airbrush. This is a very efficient little kit that can be purchased online for, believe it or not, $100. You get a compressor and 3 airbrushes. Unheard of. Airbrushes used to cost me almost $100 a piece in the 80s. And these, while they're cheap, they're actually superior to Pache VL3s in my opinion, because it takes the best of the Iwata and the best of the VL and makes it for $15. Also available at Harbor Freight. Now, high contrast, Harbor Freight tools. They sell these cheap $14 airbrushes. Go ahead and just start using those. Okay, so now I'm going to start building up contrast. You can do this just with, different kinds of makeup. You don't have to use an airbrush. I'm just doing it because it's an easy way for me to show you guys. I'm going thick here. See, bring out this contrast. Look at that, I'm just going to blast the eye. See how fast this is starting to happen? Look at this. I'm going to do her nose here. Blast that out. All these places where you would see the shadow. See how that's happening? This is magic. It really is magic. Because that's one of the things I love about airbrush. It's so fast and so fun. And I've been a professional airbrush artist for 30 years, so I make it look really easy. It takes practice, people. Don't be afraid if your stuff sucks when you first get started, because it will. To get better, you have to work. Da Vinci didn't come running out of the womb knowing exactly how to do that stuff. It takes work, it takes dedication, it takes watching other people, it takes taking classes. And I'm not talking about art school. I am talking about life drawing. Things like that, going to zoos and drawing animals and stuff. Especially if you're going to be a monster maker. Think about how much time Rick Baker spent in the zoo drawing, gorillas and stuff. How many Oscars has that guy won for his work with gorillas? Rick Baker's won more Oscars than even John Williams, I think. He's a monster maker. Yes, this is permanent. Joke's on her. No, this stuff washes off with soap and water, hydrochloric acid. Okay, look at that. Not bad. That's good enough for a spook house. I'm gonna go ahead and come in here and do some of this. Her chest is kind of sinking in. You know how I learned how to do this? I grew up really poor. And I wanted to be Lon Chaney Sr. as London After Midnight when I was 5 years old. And my dad was like, oh, how are we gonna do that? And he runs to the store with a quarter and buys a sheet of black cardboard, cardstock stuff. And cuts out, makes me a top hat. Takes a black garbage bag and cuts out a cape, the vampire stuff. Takes a wine bottle and takes the cork and burns the cork and showed me with the burnt cork how to do. It's actually a neat way to practice. I don't know if you guys use pastels or anything like that. They smooth out really good, and burnt cork does the same thing. So sometimes not having money makes you a better artist. Actually, just about every time. That's why independent films are always usually better, because you don't have a lot of people with a lot of money telling you what to do when you know what you want to do with your movie. Following the exact opposite of the areas I just did. Coming through here. Got to really work this orbital ridge. But all this stuff could be done with grease paint and pencils, and actually I used to use shoe dye, that white paint in the shoe dye, to do my makeups when I was a little kid, as long as it's non-toxic. I thought that I was an airbrush artist in the 80s when it was really popular on the beach in St. Simons. And I thought I created airbrush makeup, because long before I saw Steve Wang do anything, I looked at the airbrush bottle and I was like, hey, it's non-toxic. That means I can paint myself with it, right? Maybe. I was young and crazy. So I was doing these crazy airbrush makeups with fabric paint, which in fact I still use sometimes, because sometimes I have to do makeup on wrestlers. And this stuff will rub off if somebody comes up and slaps you across the face really hard and you're sweaty. So wrestlers don't want that. So we use latex or acrylic paint right out of the tube, which is not usually the best way to do things because it is a little rougher on you. But we do all kinds of tricks like that in makeup. So there you go. How about that? Pretty good, huh? For a quick job. And it's all based on Dick Smith's early techniques, which were in fact really expunged on. It all comes from Lon Chaney. Everything you can do with storytelling through film, definitely with makeup, definitely with special effects. It was all done between that magic decade of 1925 to 1935, where every movie was made that was going to be, you have the greatest science fiction, Metropolis, you have the greatest fantasy horror, which is King Kong, you have the greatest horror, which is anything that Lon Chaney did. And to fully understand makeups and the history of it, you need to go back and study that stuff, because these guys like Jack Pierce with his Universal Monster stuff, they did things and they came up with techniques that are still used today. And I'm going to show you guys some more. Are you ready?
While Shane gets set up, a few minutes ago I put some Elmer's glue, household Elmer's glue, on our zombie guy's arm. And hopefully I had it dried too much. When it gets tacky, when it gets clear, like his has, you can come in and you can make zombie skin. And you just see how it's already wrinkling up. And this is just using Elmer's glue, which does not hurt your body at all. Now I see how it looks like peeling skin.
Look at that.
Look at that, how cool is that? And you don't even need makeup on it, because once it dries more, still has white there. Well, Elmer's glue dries kind of translucent. So it'll actually give you that, I've been out in the sun too long. Now in his case, we would want to do some green highlights on it and stuff to match his face. But you can literally do his whole arms like that.
And you could build that up with cotton, just like I did.
Yep.
And you know what? This looks so good. I would even use that if I had to do like a sunburn makeup on somebody.
exactly.
I would put like a nice alcohol base of makeup down that this wouldn't affect, and that would look great.
Because the great thing about Elmer's glue, remember when kids, what do kids like to do?
Yeah, you can drink it.
Because it's non-toxic. And
Most
it's non-toxic on your skin too.
Most of this stuff is non-toxic. Fake blood and stuff, we need to use all the wonderful kinds of blood. You want some blood maybe?
She's been
His
there.
clothes look kind of fancy. I'm not going to mess with him. I'm not going to put blood on him because his clothes look kind of fancy. It kind of does. The trick with red dye is you never know. It's going to stain and you never know. It says they've come out with this amazing new product. They come up with it every 2 or 3 years. It's blood that washes out of everything. And we did a test and it was pretty awesome, but everything, FD&C red is crazy.
Yep.
So how do you make blood? You go to the store and you get some Karo syrup and some food coloring, mostly red, of course, and a couple drops of green. And we get some blood going here. And this is also good because you get like some different sort of things going on. Like, okay, she's flat. All these colors I've used are flat. All these colors on him are flat. But with this, we get some gloss. It kind of breaks things up. Always be careful with anything that's red around the eyes, because they've come up with eye blood. It's pretty safe. It's $85 a half ounce. And I just don't know. This is this blood, you could easily make it at home. Throw a little bit of Hershey's chocolate syrup in it and a little bit of mint flavor, and you've got like mint chocolate chip blood. It'll make it easier on your actors. No, I'm not kidding. We always flavor our blood that's going in mouths.
In the 1960s, when they really started to show blood more on film, like Psycho, for instance, but they were still in the black and white world. Alfred Hitchcock, for instance, in Psycho used, what did he use, Shane? Chocolate syrup.
Chocolate syrup.
Because red in black and white transfers to gray. Chocolate syrup transfers to a very dark color, which denotes the blood. So,
and there's all different kinds of blood. This, one of my favorite things, is thick blood. You can make this at home. That's the funny thing about makeup and stuff. You can see these fancy makeups, and they've got some famous guy's name on it, but it's all made by the same person. They just repackage it. There's only one company, 2 companies that make this alcohol-based stuff. I prefer Illustrator to Temp 2, but you can get palettes, custom palettes made and put your name on them. Me, I sell my own brand of latex. What do I do to make it Shane Morton latex? I just put a little bit of liquid acrylic paint in it and color it. So there's like zombie flesh, the official Atlanta Zombie Apocalypse zombie flesh, or put a little bit of flesh tone. And all it is to color latex. You could use the expensive latex coloring things, but they're all just acrylic paints. Go buy the cheap stuff too. Sometimes the cheap stuff is better.
this right here is what he's talking about.
Yeah.
You can buy the hobby stuff, as long as it's acrylic water-based, because latex is water-based.
Yep.
Water-based loves water-based.
So how do you make this awesome thick blood that's so gruesome? You just take a pan and put some saran wrap down and pour out your corn syrup blood that you made that's colored all nice and let it sit. It's going to dry up and it's going to make this. And you can put it in a jar like this and charge $40 a jar if you want to. So now I'm going to put some of this on him.
And it don't drip.
And it stays. And I did not remember to bring rice with me, but you could even throw a couple of pieces of long grain rice, and he's got maggots in the wounds. It works really great.
I have gone as far as going to the bait store and getting mealyworms and sticking them so they actually move.
That looks great. We love mealworms.
Mealworms are our friends. And they actually like it because they'll eat it. They'll eat whatever you stick them to if it's sugar-based.
And they'll move around, and you can have a zombie Just like that wonderful Lucio Fulci zombie from Zombie, they just did this and they put some mealworms in it, so he's got like mealworms moving around and they're stuck in this.
Yep.
It's kind of mean, but you know what? You can eat the mealworms when you're done because they're good for you. They're all protein anyway.
Let them eat your fake flesh, and then you can eat them.
And then you can eat them and get revenge. Okay, so there you see, and now he's got some shiny spots in this makeup that's mostly flat. That breaks it up. That's a good thing to think about. Okay, I was going to show you guys something really cool. This is something you have to buy, though. Are you up for it? You want a big scar on your face? I'm looking at you. I'm looking at you. You look, yeah, you see how he did that? Yeah. All right, he looks pretty tough. He's got a broken arm. He's going for it. Let me see.
He's a trooper. We'll get another chair over here for him.
Here we go.
You can sit over here by the green zombie.
So here you go. So this is rigid collodion. This is a neat thing. You have to buy this at like Eddie's or something. But this is still, like if you want like a knife wound on your bad guy in your movie, or there's a pirate.
I like this.
Or there's just, you know, the Mexican waitress with the scar on the face.
Yeah.
You know, what makes people interesting. Sometimes it's like, you know, fun little things like this. So this is rigid collodion, and Lon Chaney came up with this, and this is still the industry standard today for a realistic scar. Because unless you're going to have, scars they push in. So, you know, unless you've got the super money to make a cast of your actor's head, make a silicone mold of something that's going to pop off, you're going to have to push the whole side of his face out to hide the indentation in the makeup. Just do it with collodion. That's how they do it. They just have to retouch it a lot because it moves. So, say, no, don't do that. Just relax. Actually, you could do that. You could swinch your face up. I'm just going to paint this on his face. It's cold. It's not going to hurt you. It smells kind of funky. It smells funny and it's cold. But this is also used before they had latex. Like, imagine what Jack Pierce had to do to create the Frankenstein monster and the mummy and all these great makeups. Latex wasn't discovered until like the early 40s or late 30s. So he had to build all those big pieces up with. No, don't do that. Just relax. See, this is like a glue. It's burning. I thought you were tough. It's gonna start drying and squishing up, and it's pinching his skin. It's looking really good. If a little, you know, I used to have this uncle that used to say, if a little is good, a whole lot is better. So we're gonna do it again.
It feels like it's pulling your skin.
It is pulling.
Yeah.
But we're gonna let that sit for a while, and that's rigid collodion. Don't get it near your eye.
Or your nose.
Forrest J. Ackerman in Famous Monsters mistakenly reported that Lon Chaney got his blind eye in west of Zanzibar by putting rigid collodion in his eye. And to his day, he was sad that some kid might have read that wrong. But no, that was a contact lens. A lot of people don't know this. Lon Chaney also created the contact lens. He did so much awesome stuff. See, look at that. Isn't that crazy? It doesn't even need makeup.
Nope.
I could put some makeup on it, but it doesn't even need it.
It's just a bad cut he got about 3 or 4 years ago.
And it's never going away.
Nope, that's how you look.
And that's good. You can, like, you know, do some fun stuff with that. Now, if you are going to use this, you're going to have to, you know, probably retouch it. When his face moves, you'll start to see it going up.
Can you turn your face to the camera? The camera wants to see your face.
Yeah, let's see. Look at that.
There you go. Yeah, you can powder it.
Yeah, the thing is you want shine with a scar, but she's right. If there's a little bit too much shine on it, powder it down.
Does it come off like with water?
No, it never comes off. No, you peel it off.
It comes
Wash
off
your
like
face
tape.
with soap and water. And if it's giving you a little bit of trouble, a little bit of alcohol or shaving cream takes just about everything off. Like if any of this is bothering you, because I put prosthetic adhesive to These are some prosthetics that I had made earlier. This isn't out of the kit. But if it bothers, just a little bit of shaving cream takes just about anything off. You know, you could use 99% alcohol, like alcohol-based makeups, which is kind of becoming industry standard stuff. You know, you can get a palette like this. This is when you start getting into the more of the expensive stuff, but if you know how to use it, you can get a lot out of spending a little. I've had this kit, I do a lot of work, and I've had this kit for over a year, and it's still got color in it. The beauty of an alcohol-based makeup, you want one?
No, it's okay.
Does somebody else want one? Here.
There we go.
Okay,
We have another victim.
you can go back to your chair. You were very good.
We'll get her. Oh,
I'm going to show you guys
Looks
a little
cool,
bit of...
man.
Oh, he was great. He was great. How about a round of applause?
Yes.
Good job. For all these guys. They're putting up with...
Scarface.
Okay,
Junior.
this pigment, which is a little tougher, and it's alcohol-based, so you have to use 99% alcohol, or at least 91, which you can, here's another trick, you can buy 91 at Eckerd or Walgreens, because that 99 is going to cost you 50 bucks a gallon, and the other one's going to cost $5. And it'll pretty much do the same thing. And like if you're on The Walking Dead and they've got an alcohol-based makeup, they don't clean those guys up. Like at the end of the day, it takes us, and Madeline knows, it takes, these guys this is alcohol-based makeup on these guys. It takes longer to get them out of makeup than get them in it, because we've got to get in their noses, in their ears, and do all this crazy stuff to get them totally clean. But with The Walking Dead, they've got so many of them, they just spray a bunch of shaving cream on their heads and send them off. Go clean yourself up, that'll break it down. Okay, what should we do here? Now you're going to have to use some stuff to get this off. But this is what makes Johnny Depp look so awesome in his Pirates of the Caribbean stuff. Like, how would they touch up those makeups? And see, I'm charging it up with 99% alcohol. I'm going to do like a little kind of a Walking Dead kind of zombie on her. Which at first I wasn't really a big fan of those Walking Dead zombies, because it just looks to me like somebody went crazy with a bruise wheel on somebody. But man, when those guys bust out a good zombie, it's the best zombie ever. But the thing that's great about this alcohol makeup is it's like a wash almost. Look at these effects I'm getting with this sponge. It's just, I want to dirty her up a little bit. But you can literally get a wash and get, you know, if there's wrinkles, which there's not, but if I was working on Keith Richards or Mick Jagger right now, this stuff would be running deep into all the wrinkles. Okay, they always do this thing on Walking Dead where they've got these like mouth sore things going on. Put a little around the nose. And the trick, like, why would I need all these colors on a zombie palette? Aren't zombies just green and black or gray? Like if you buy a pirate palette, like the pirate palette, so you can do bums and hobos and homeless people and pirates really good. Why does it have all these colors? Because people are colored every color. Like if you're going to color something and make it look real, if you look at your skin, you've got blue, purple, brown, green, every color in the rainbow is in your skin, and you got to use it all if you're going to do a realistic makeup that can hold up to close scrutiny.
And these guys, they'll go online and they'll find pictures of real dead people who were rigorous set in and where they've been dead, the bodies that they found, and you can find them, unfortunately, on the internet. It's not something you want the kids to see, but for a makeup artist, it gives you the real look of what someone who's, 5-6 days dead looks like in their skin.
Yeah, like I said, it's a good thing to do, to study that. You can go to an autopsy and watch this stuff happen. But see, I'm grabbing a little bit of everything. I'm going to do get this thing brought out. Okay. And, oh, it's in my hand. Blue.
Are you regretting this yet?
No.
Good, good.
No, she's loving it. This is her new look.
Now you can go straight from here to the Walking Dead set. You can go straight from here to the Walking Dead set and say, I'm ready to go. And they'll say, oh my God, who did your makeup? And you say, Professor Morte.
And this stuff is really fun. I did a pirate makeup on myself, just went out bar hopping with some friends a couple months ago, and I did this pirate makeup and put a big beard on, and nobody knew who I was. It's fun to do that. My first job I had when I moved to Atlanta was I worked the makeup counter at Costco. I was just this kid that grew up on St. Simons. I went to school in Savannah for a couple years, but then I was like, nah, I'm moving to the big city and going for it. And my first job was working there, and I would ride Marta home with my throat torn out or with an eyeball hanging out. See, there you go. They're gonna love it.
Yeah, go ahead.
But yeah, if you don't want to get bothered on Marta, it's great. This is a great kit for bruises too, because it's got all the stuff for a bruise. Bruises are really important too, because like once again, going back to the skin and what it does when it putrefies and when you die and stuff, like all those colors come out. Like a good bruise uses every one of those primary colors, and then some greens and purples. So, and once again, this stuff, you could mess around with like paints and stuff at home like we did before we had all this fancy stuff.
Just don't use oil paints.
Don't use oil paints. Make sure it's non-toxic stuff. If it's made for kids, it's usually non-toxic and you can do stuff with it. And I've done some neat things with model magic. Do you guys know what model magic is? It's like the new Play-Doh. It's awesome. It's like an air dry clay. Like, this is a pretty intense mask here. And for me to, like, I sculpt this out of clay and then I make a plaster cast and I'm able to make molds. And this is how we make prosthetics. You know, you could even pull this, cut the eyes out, and this would be a fine prosthetic to use. And, but you can actually make prosthetics out of, you know, you could make horns out of model magic. It's very light, and you could use, you know, this rubber and cotton technique that I used on this guy and glue it down, and then you don't have to go through all that expensive process of casting and molding and pouring latex.
Get this dang screwdriver out of my head.
Right?
You make puppets too.
Puppets.
That tall.
But yeah. Does anybody have any questions about anything? You like that? It's pretty cool, right? It got better even.
Yeah, you got.
Yeah. It's
called
Aeolian Pixie. Yeah,
Written on the front of the.
it has changed. Like when because I've tried to find the silent airbrush kit, right? That like I spent the $500 on the Iwata box. That was still kind of heavy and cumbersome. I've always had this dream of finding that. Why was it $100 and it came with 3 airbrushes and hoses and a moisture trap for $100 with shipping? Like, I don't know. But I'm telling everybody about it, even if I blow out 3 of them a year, at that cost and being so quiet on set. Like, I was working with Lisa Carter and she shows up with that as her primary and we're doing all these full body things. When I'm doing that, I'll get a big compressor and we'll blast people with paint guns for cars. You know, like if we're doing hundreds of zombies or devils or we have to do lots of stuff, we actually use car sprayers and a big compressor. But I laughed. I was like, there's no way this thing's any good. And then I fell in love with it we're getting married in a couple months.
And it's Aeolian, and then pixie, like pixie dust.
Yeah.
The only, it does not come with warranty or anything, so just test it as soon as you get it. You only get 30 days.
Yeah, we're gonna fix that. Let me.
And don't let it overheat. It's not meant for hours and hours of work,
But we use them for hours and hours.
but you can, they get upset. That's too much.
Because, I mean, for $100, what do you think you're getting? You know, it's like,
Are you using acrylic with that, or is it something else paint-wise? I know you can put pretty much any kind of paint in.
yeah, as long as you water it down, sure. But no, I'm using, and there's all kinds of different airbrush makeups on the, but there you go. There's kind of a Walking Dead style makeup. Maybe darken the eyes up a little bit, which I will do with an airbrush, because I love airbrushes. There are so many different kinds of airbrush makeup. I love Maron liquids. They're cheap. They hold up really good. There's tricks that you can use to get them to hold up better. Like Wooly gave me a trick about 10 years ago. He puts Prozade in some of this stuff, and that's really effective. It's really mean to your subject, but sometimes you have to be mean to get the stuff going. I'm gonna go ahead and, yeah, Prozade, he's gonna find out when he tries to take that makeup off, that Prozade doesn't come off. But here, once again, I'm gonna come through here with the airbrush, like darken up some of this. But that's another thing too, and cool makeup artists like Roy, you see them work and ask them, say, how'd you do that? And if they're nice guys, as a lot of them are, they might tell you.
And Roy's a real nice guy.
Yeah, he's awesome. We actually did, yesterday, we did 250 zombie makeups. Me and him and 7 other people in, 3 hours? 250 zombies? Yeah. Okay, there you go. Just darken up the eyes a little bit. A little bit of that went a long way. But yeah, so there's some fun.
And you get you a whole lot of hair gel and put in your hair and have it stringy
Yeah.
and creepy. And
Or leave-in conditioner.
Yeah.
We love leave-in conditioner.
Being really gross and dirty and
Shane, he wanted to know what now you could do to this to match up his face on something like that.
To match this to this?
Yeah, he asked me that.
Yeah, I would just do
like
this.
he's breaking out in this. He's
Yeah, like the
transforming.
zombie infection is spreading.
Exactly.
Well, we would just come through here. Don't worry about that. The other beauty, and this is why we use these things at zombie walks and stuff, is
Like a
because it's water-based and it comes out of your clothes. So we're going to make this look like the infection's spreading. We're going to have some of this stuff spreading out here. Okay, so that zombie bite, ooh, that was pretty gross when that happened. Put a little bit of this thick blood in there.
There's the bite. Yeah.
Oh man, what I put my mother through. They'd come
See, that's the cool
home
stuff
and
about
I had
the glue. He can get up under that skin, like he's doing,
Yep.
and it gives it that peel back, been bit 3D.
Yeah, I
look.
mean that would stand up to like a close scrutiny. I
Yeah.
would say. I think you could shoot that, especially. I mean, God, we watched the worst movie last night. It was so awesome. Remember that? It was Beast. It was called Attack of the Beast Creatures. Have you guys ever seen Tales of Terror with Karen Black with the
Oh,
Zuni
yeah.
fetish doll running around.
Yep.
I don't know how I never heard of this movie.
Oh, really? Trilogy of Terror.
No. Attack of the Beast
No, I'm
Creatures.
talking about- it
Of
was
course,
the-
I own Trilogy
the
of
Karen
Terror.
Black,
I've talked
yeah.
to Karen Black
Oh, yeah,
about
yeah,
it.
yeah.
You know,
Okay,
like
yeah.
I'm a fan.
Oh, I love Trilogy of Terror.
But this was like a movie of people stranded on a desert island, totally inhabited by Zuni fetishes.
Oh my God.
Like hundreds of them chasing the worst puppets you've ever seen chasing people. And it was really bad, but nobody left the party. Nobody left. This movie that these guys made, and I Googled it, I was like, how don't I know about this? It was compared to Evil Dead because the camera work was so neat and these guys had done so much with so little. And it was a lot of fun. I mean, it was terrible. The acting was so bad. What was the final line of the movie? What were those things? The end. But I'm never going to forget it. I'm telling you guys about it. I'm telling everybody about it. Like,
And it's called
Attack of the Beast Creatures.
Beast Creatures. So the Zuni warriors.
But they
were
look
beast
like the
creatures.
Zuni fetishes from the Karen Black thing. So I'm going to do a... But yeah, that thing scared the you-know-what out of me as a
Trilogy of
kid.
Terror
It
was
still
awesome.
does. Like, you watch that Trilogy of Terror thing with Karen Black, and it's just so...
Because if you
She's
haven't
weird,
seen him, he's a little
too.
voodoo-looking doll or a tribal doll about this, and it's got this large mouth like Nightmare Before Christmas guy, but it's just filled with fangs. And he's got this little shield and a little spear. He's
And
like a
he's-
Zuni warrior, but
And
he's
he's
like this
chasing
doll.
her around the house, and his little knife is getting under the bathroom door, and it's just like, ugh! Definitely the best killer doll movie ever. Everything the Chucky movies, they learned it all from that 15 minutes of Karen Black getting chased around the apartment. But that's what I'm getting at. Once again, like, you guys are independent filmmakers. You're trying to make movies with your friends on weekends. And think about it, it's all about like creativity and imagination. Like, you don't need $1 million to make a great movie. Like, I was really proud of, I thought I made Rob Zombie mad after we wrapped on Halloween 2, and he was like, I loved all the stuff you did, what can I do for you? It was great. And I was like, nothing, because I'll never work with you again as long as you work with these Hollywood people that are just so mean to you and making your movie bad. And I don't want to offend you, but you need to get away from Hollywood and make your own movie. I was there today. Harvey Weinstein came in screaming at everybody and pulled 25 pages out of his script. It's like, don't. And now he went and made his own movie for under $3 million. And I think Lords of Salem's his best thing. Like, people hated it. And I knew it when I saw it. I was like, everybody's going to hate this because it's like, it's not a Rob Zombie movie with a bunch of people screaming and getting hacked up. It's like a slow burn, like Rosemary's Baby or something. And I think those movies are a lot scarier than, like, Freddy Krueger's not, well, that first Freddy Krueger's scary, but it's sometimes what you don't
gets a
see
little
is
comical.
scarier. But yeah, once again, like, so, and then I talked to him, he doesn't have a problem with me or anything, but I was like, no, don't make these big movies. Make a little movie that has heart and soul in it. You'll get more of your vision out. You don't have to have a lot of money to make good art. So look what we made here for nothing. It just takes practice.
In 45 minutes.
Yeah, 45 minutes. So you guys have good luck, and if you need, if you have questions or whatever, you can Facebook me. Like I said, I teach classes. I've got an amazing lab, an amazing classroom where I teach all kinds of stuff. I do stuff for kids too.
And if you guys like Halloween events and attractions during Halloween,
Oh yeah, I'm
Shane
the
does the
creator
zombie
of the
apocalypse.
Atlanta Zombie Apocalypse. I've got stuff up here if you guys want anything. I've got some of these posters from the TV show to sign, and some flyers from the attraction if you guys want
Here, we'll
some
pass
stuff.
them
Here's
around.
some
I'll
here's some
pass them around to
things.
everybody. Here you go. Take one. You guys have one? There you go. buddy.
There's a site, there's an event page called Shane Morton's Monster Makeup class.
Here, that's yours.
And we also do Monster
dear.
Championship
One for you,
Wrestling. This is our first
you,
show
bud.
that's kids can get in. It's an all ages show, but it's Imagine Wrestling but with vampires and werewolves and voodoo guys, and it's
Now,
live band playing. It's fun
I've
stuff.
got to square off against this zombie here now who's about to attack me. So I got to square off. And how do you kill a zombie? Headshot. Boom, 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 boom.
Look at that thing. That fooled me. That's a nice prop. Look at that. It needs a new paint job.
Yep.
But like that's really nice. You know how they made that? They took a real one and just cast it.
Yep.
It's foam rubber, you know. And when we didn't have the money to cast this stuff, we just cut it out of foam, cover it in rubber, do a paint job. Lots of neat tricks you can do with like washes and dry brush techniques and all kinds of stuff. And you know, you can like go online. Nowadays, everybody's put their tutorials online, so get on there and watch that stuff.
They certainly
You
are.
can get an education for free on the internet.
You sure can. Lots of things you can buy for props real quick, like these. Remember the old cop billy clubs? You can get you a real one and do a sleight of hand. You know, be like this and say, all right, I'm going to get you. And then you come out and you swap hands. So you don't believe me? Bam, and hit him. And of course, it doesn't hurt. And you can weather it up and you got to admit, they match pretty good, right? And this is a quarter. You know, at the little kid's store. Or you know, I found this and I was like, oh my God, and it was a quarter. And it looked just like my real one.
Yep.
And when you
Thrift
find things
stores.
like that, buy it and throw it away because you're probably going to need it one day when you're making your movie.
Thrift stores are your friends.
Especially for costuming.
Yep.
Goodwill, awesome place to get costumes and props. Guys, thanks a lot for coming.
Yeah, thanks,
Let's give
guys.
Shane a big hand and let's give our
Very
volunteers
good.
a big round of
Thank
applause.
you.
Our evil zombie monster and our walking dead girls. Thanks a lot, guys. Have fun at the festival.
So you have your own classes?
Yes, I am teaching. I teach adult classes at my lab.
do get a picture of me and
and I
Shane, bud.
teach kids classes at the Tucker School of Art. So if you go,